Welcome to this week's Real Estate Deal Breakdown. My name is Greg Helbeck, and today I'm going to talk about a house that was wholesaled in New York State for, I believe, $75,000. So stay tuned. If you're not familiar with me, I've been a full-time real estate investor now for 10 years. I've done over 400 properties at this point. So everything you're going to learn from me on these videos and this podcast is from the trenches. This is not regurgitated theory out of a book. So if you get value from this video or podcast, do me a favor, like the video on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share the show with someone who you think would get value from it. It would mean a lot to me. That's how we get more views on a weekly basis. So today I'm going to talk about a property in Stony Point. I'm not going to give the address out, but it was a banged up Cape Cod style house that was sitting vacant for years. And the way that this lead came about is my friend James, good buddy of mine, who've been doing deals for years. He brought it to my attention. He said, "Greg, I got a messy title deal. I think we can get this done." And I said, let's go for it. So he had got in touch with the seller. They owed like 3 or 4 years worth of back taxes. And in Rockland County, the taxes every year are expensive. So the sellers, they didn't do anything with the property. I believe they lived in Georgia. So they lived nowhere near the property. We got this under contract for $130,000. Sellers were happy because they were getting the taxes paid off and they were getting like $40,000 in their pocket that they weren't even expecting because they didn't think they could sell the house. So that's a key there if you want banging deals. So they were happy. We were happy. We knew we had a good deal on our hands. I mean, the land itself was worth more than that. And I was like, we could probably wholesale this and make a big fat wholesale fee. So found a buyer who's willing to pay $220,000 for a property. And this thing's probably fixed up worth about $450,000 to $500,000, maybe $525,000 on a good day, depending on how you rehab it. So there's a big spread there for the buyer, right? It's a win-win for everybody. You know, the seller got money that they weren't expecting. We got a smoking deal and a great wholesale fee, and the buyer got a property they can make money on. Now, you're probably thinking this is going to be an easy deal to close. No, it wasn't. There was a bunch of title issues. I had to use a specific title company that I use only for hairy deals. And they said, okay, in order to get clear title, we need airship affidavits, and we need, this, and we need that. So we gave all those documents to the title company. They issued us the title policy, which we gave to the buyer. He ended up closing. He had a hard money lender, and the hard money lender was a little bit of a pain in the butt on this with some of the paperwork, but ended up getting it all done, and we made ourselves like $70,000, which is amazing. So $35,000 each. We split it 50-50, and it was a win-win-win situation. So there is one little hiccup we had at this closing is the title company that we hired decided to not even show up to the closing, which is a problem because in order to get title insurance, you got to sign title affidavits in New York and all this stuff. So I had to call the title guy. And I'm like, listen, we had this thing put together for 5 months. You didn't send someone to close this. This is a problem. Now the seller's getting pissed. The buyer's like, what the hell's going on? So ended up at the last minute, they sent somebody up there to sign all the title paperwork. So it was a little bit of drama at the end, but that's to be expected in this business. And that was like the real only issue with this thing was the drama at the closing, but ends up closing. What are some lessons you can learn from this that you can apply in your business? Well, number one, if you target properties that are vacant and delinquent on taxes, you can get some sick deals if you're willing to put up with the title issues most likely associated with those properties. And I've been doing that for years. We've made millions doing that. And I'm telling you, you just find a list of properties that are like in foreclosure or tax delinquent, which is also sort of a variation of foreclosure. And you use a software like Invelo. If you want to check that out, go to inveloapp.com. Tell them Greg Helbeck sent you, and they'll take good care of you. And you can use that tool to filter out vacant houses. And then you personally cold call vacant houses that are tax delinquent. I'm telling you, if you do enough calls, you're going to get deals from that. So that's lesson number one. Target the distressed properties that actually allow you to have an opportunity to buy them. Lesson number two is when you have hairy deals, you need a good team, right? You need a good title company who's willing to get these things done. Because when you bring a vanilla plain Jane title company, a hairy deal, they just say, oh, we don't want to do this. But you got to have multiple vendors. And in this case, we have our one title company that we always bring the hairy deals to because they're willing to do them. You got to find out what they need from you in order to issue title insurance, and then you can get that deal done. So use multiple title companies for different transactions. Obviously, there's one that we use a lot, but when we have a hairy deal, we don't use them. We use the hairy title company. And that's just a way to get deals done. We've done several crazy hairy deals with this company, and they're great. So that's the property in Stony Point. I hope you got value from it. If you're in the Hudson Valley or Seattle or Delaware and you have a house you want to wholesale to me, or like this one, wholesale with me, and we can split a $70,000 deal together, I'd love to do that with you. Send me an email, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com, or you can send me an Instagram DM at grego37, and I'll see you on the next REI deal breakdown.